Alright, well my new bottom end came in today, and we finally got the flywheel off. I didn't actually have a puller for it, so here's what we ended up having to do. Let's see if I can dig some parts out here so I can show you what I did. Basically, what is this tie rod thing, Billy?
It's a Pitman arm puller.
Okay, we have a Pitman arm puller. We've been trying to find all different kinds of bolts to fit in there. We had this one, which is actually a 200S flywheel puller. Threads right into the center there. And then basically, it's too small to fit in there. Then we had this that came off a puller, but the nipple on the end was way too long. It would hit the crankshaft before it actually thread in. And as you can see, it's the right size bolt, so I was pretty bummed when I found out it wouldn't work because it would hit the crankshaft before it actually start to thread. Then we got the Pitman arm here, and this is a good hour and a half, 2 hours of searching for a bolt that'll work. We found this, and it just threaded in about 1/4 inch before we were actually able to, before it actually hit the crankshaft there. We got the flywheel off using a Pitman arm bolt. So I guess I didn't have to buy a flywheel puller offline. It's kind of nice because I didn't really have any more money to spend. I've already maxed out my budget. I've got just enough money left over to borrow out the block, and that is literally it. But got the flywheel off. And by the way, this is not the bottom end that was on the Honda Fat Cat to start with. This is the one I ordered, and the old one is sitting right over here. That's it right there. What I've decided to do is I'm gonna take the crankshaft out of this one and put it in the one that was originally on the Fat Cat. I'm just gonna call this the new one and use the old one as the old one. So yeah, I don't really trust this bottom end very much because that tickled my throat. Yeah, for starters, this gear doesn't always engage when you go forward to turn the crank over, which is how my 200S does, and my 200S bottom end is all screwy. Like, see right now I'm able to turn the motor over with it. You back it up for a second, and it'll just free spin again. My other motor, you turn it backwards, you turn it forward, it'll immediately lock back in. You turn it backwards, turn it forward, it'll immediately lock back in over and over again. It does not free spin forward whatsoever, which is what it's supposed to do. But the connecting rod is so screwed up on the old motor that I just don't even want to try to dare use it. And it was going to cost a ton of money to have it taken into a shop and get the crankshaft taken apart, get a new connecting rod put on, then pressed back together. So I paid $138 shipping, total out to $197. So I believe I saved a good bit of money, plus I got extra parts. So that's kind of nice. I'm just going to swap the crankshaft from this one over to the old one, and we're going to continue working tonight. I don't know how much film I'm going to be able to get done because it's so late now that it took us so long to figure out a way to get that flywheel off. I mean, we spent a very long time figuring that out. Actually, it was probably well over an hour and a half, wasn't it, Billy?
Yeah.
We started at around 9 o'clock, and it's like 11:30 now. So yeah, we've been trying to figure that out for a very long time. But yeah, we'll get back to you. Alright, so we finally got the other side off. We're looking at it, and yeah, everything looks pretty good. Just looks like the clutch pads are probably seized together. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. Just the fact that it's got corrosion everywhere. We got some surface rust here, surface rust there. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out the rest of the way to pull the rest of this crankcase in half. So we're just gonna start pulling shit off that looks like it should be right. Hey, caramba. Alright, it's the next day. I've found out some issues with this bottom end over here. Let's see here. You can see that someone had chewed up the hell out of that nut. Looks like someone had tried to put needle nose vice grips on it or something. Sheared the living hell out of it. So I really am not able to get that nut off in order to get the crankshaft out. So it's basically a problem that I can't really get past. Kind of sucks. And also it's I found out what this is supposed to do here. It's supposed to turn freely one way. The clutch here is supposed to turn one way this way, and it's supposed to lock in going this way. Like, see, it locks in after a few turns sometimes. Sometimes it'll just keep on going. If you stop it though, it'll kind of lock. It's finicky. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to go like this. I'll turn it this way, it'll lock. Turn it this way, it'll lock. Turn it this way, it'll lock. The second you try to push it forward, it's supposed to lock. Which it's not doing. Which is basically what my 200S does. So, I know something's wrong with its clutch. Clutch pads don't look like they're too bad on this stuff. I mean, they're a little worn, but they're not really, really bad. And the clutch plates on it, so far as I can see, they still got a decent bit of padding left on them. So what I might actually do is just leave this motor as is and just leave it alone and get back to this one over here. Just use the old bottom end off the Fat Cat as is, and I'm going to try and ream out that connecting rod and get rid of the scoring that's inside of there so I can just use it over again. I think it should be alright. I had planned on switching the crankshaft over so I wouldn't have to deal with the connecting rod, but I guess there's no way out of it now. But yeah, I'm just going to put the new piston right onto the old crankshaft and see what happens. And what I plan on doing with this one, I might just rebuild it completely. I mean, not rebuild it, make it into a complete motor again. So basically I'll just leave it as is, put all the parts back on, don't even mess with any of this stuff because there's nothing I can really do about it, and get a block, or I guess I'd get a jug and a head for it and everything, and have a second motor for the Fat Cat. So I'll have two motors. I'll have a backup, and I'll have the good motor it'll already have on it. I'd like to figure out how the clutching system works on this, because it's kind of interesting the way it's all hooked up and everything. Everything's all weird. I don't know how it works. I'd have to really look into it to understand it better, but yeah, that's basically the motor. So yeah, this one turned out to be a wash with swapping the crankshaft over. There's nothing I can really do. I mean, I can't get a grinder in there to grind the chips off of that nut, so that means I can't get a socket on there, and if I can't get a socket on there, I can't take it off. Which I'm guessing the previous guy was trying to take that off and ended up not having the right tools and just tried doing what he could and ended up boogering it up. So yeah, this one's kind of crap. It's really annoying. So that's going to be the last update for now, I guess, until all the rest of the parts come in. Once that piston comes in, I'll get the jug board and get start putting it together and everything. Yep. Alright, my nice new forged piston came in today. Nice and shiny. That looks cool. you won't get that kind of shine out of this. See that bad scoring, and on this side there's a good sized chunk taken out right there. You can kind of see it. See, yeah, you can see it now. But you know, one thing I've noticed about the forged piston here, it's got these little ridges on it. I believe what these ridges are for is to hold more oil, basically, get better lubrication. And also I noticed that the wrist pin is longer for the forged than for the cast. You can see that it's cut in along here, and this is pretty much flush all the way around. But I ordered the oversize, but I think it was 65 millimeters. I'm really not quite sure, but it's a little bit bigger than the other one. You can kind of notice it. Yeah, it's got bigger holes for oil than this one. First off, this one only had 3. Well, I guess it has holes where the oil ring goes. This one has these 4 big holes on either side for the oil ring, and they come down a little bit past the bottom of the oil ring, so a little bit of oil can get underneath. This one had 3 holes below the oil ring, and then it had 4 holes. Yeah, you can see them now. Had 4 holes right inside the oil ring. So yeah, forged piston looks a whole lot better. And also, something I found that was pretty interesting. I wish I could remember the name of the forum site, but this guy did a test on forged versus cast. He took a huge press, and he took a forged piston, a Wiseco actually, same kind as this, and he pressed it right on top of the piston skirt, and I can't remember how many tons it was able to withstand before it actually bent, but it was a significant amount. And then he took a regular cast piston and he put the press on it, and he said that there wasn't even a reading before the piston gave, which the cast piston just shattered, and he couldn't even get a reading out of it. The forged piston was able to hold a lot more weight, and instead of cracking into a bunch of little pieces, it withheld itself and just decided to bend. So yeah, new piston versus old. Piston skirt's a little bit skinnier, a little bit more shallow than this one, but the cut on the sides where the wrist pin goes in is a lot different. So that's pretty cool. And they're both about the exact same height. I'd have to say the forged one is just a teeny tiny bit taller, but not by much. Online, when I looked at it, the forged piston actually looked smaller, looked shorter. But that was just looking at the picture. When I actually got it here, they're about the same height. So I guess the forged piston being a little bit taller will give me that harder compression. That's pretty neat. But yeah, that's the new piston came in today. I'm waiting on my gaskets to come in. Tomorrow's Sunday, so the delivery probably won't come Sunday, but I think Monday my gaskets should be here. But first thing Monday morning, I'm gonna take the jug and the new forged piston over to the machine shop, and I'll get them to bore it out to the size of the piston, and get everything fitted up right, and then I'll start putting it back together, and hopefully by the end of the week, of next week, I should have the Honda Fat Cat up and running again and be having fun with it.